my miraculous friends, and welcome to another episode of Bold Banter Bonanza, where I read your controversial opinions on My Little Pony. I asked for more of your controversial takes in the last episode, and you guys had a few things to say. If you haven't seen the first episode, don't worry, it's not necessary for this insane compilation of complicated compulsions that perplexing people have towards their opinions. Without further ado, let's get started. I think Applejack is an okay character. I do not understand why so many people hate on her. She is strong, and just because she has no magic or flight doesn't mean that she can't be strong. I don't think it's that people dislike Applejack all that much, but more that people don't really care for her as much. I also don't think that the problem is that people don't think that Applejack is strong, especially if you're talking physically, because in that case, she is objectively the strongest out of all of them. I've heard a lot of people refer to her as being the mom of the group. Basically, she is the most mature and down-to-earth out of all of them, and she is often the voice of reason of the group. But she is also probably the character with the least amount of flaws. And all of these things combined don't make her a bad character, but I do think that they make her the least interesting. And I think that's why people don't really care for Applejack's character as much. Again, not saying she's a bad character. I absolutely love Applejack, just as I do all the rest of the main six. It's just that the rest of them have just a little bit more to them that makes me like them just a wee bit more. Zephyr Breeze was overhated. He wasn't even a bad guy at all, but just had a problem with being stuck with his parents and barely trying anything due to fear of failure. So I am going to have to disagree with this, and the reason is because I don't think Zephyr Breeze so much had a fear of failure as he did a problem with just giving up. And I definitely don't think he has a fear of failure, and that's why he's not doing anything. Instead, his problem seems to be that he does a lot of things, and then once he finds out that those things require any level of work, he suddenly gives up and quits. His problem was laziness, not a fear of failure.
I just could not take it.
Well, maybe if you stuck with it for more than a few weeks.
I decided I'm gonna be a sculptor.
As for him being a bad guy, have you seen how he hits on Rainbow Dash? Have you seen how he destroys his parents' home? Have you seen how he threw out his father's cloud collection? The dude is awful! So I'm sorry to say I cannot agree with this, but I respect your opinion and I thank you for the comment. Rainbow Dash should have been the one to become an alicorn, since she's the one to have created the actual magical link between the main six in the first place. That is fascinating. You do say that you might be biased though because Rainbow Dash is your favorite character, but here's the thing. Rainbow Dash is also my favorite character. And with that being said, I can't agree with this. And it's because Rainbow Dash really doesn't have the qualities necessary to rule Equestria. Plus, I think that Rainbow Dash fulfilling her lifelong goal of being a Wonderbolt is much more narratively satisfying than her ascending to be a princess. I do think that position is better suited for Twilight, but I definitely agree. Rainbow Dash, best pony. 14,000 subs, let's go! Thank you, Lemony. Also, unpopular opinion, Pinkie Pie has a great singing voice. Many seem to think that she doesn't due to it being too high-pitched and screechy. I definitely agree with this. I do like Pinkie's singing voice, and I do like a lot of the songs that she was given. In fact, I don't think that there was a single song in the show that I didn't like from Pinkie Pie. But also, the grand total of songs across the entire show that I didn't like is probably less than 10. I don't have a controversial opinion, but can I just be in the video? No. Flurry Heart is cute. I know the design is stupid and ridiculous. That's what makes her so adorable in my eyes. Okay, yeah, that's fair. If that's the thing that everybody hates about her, but it happens to be what makes you like Flurry Heart, I think that's totally fair. That is your taste, that is your opinion, and I respect it. Moving on. Oh my gosh. Roseluck is a better partner for Dr. Hooves than Derpy. Ooh. I don't know about that. I mean, I get it. Rose was the name of the Doctor's first partner, and so it only makes sense that Dr. Hooves' partner would be Rose. But Roseluck doesn't have as much personality as Derpy does. We also don't get to see her interactions with Dr. Hooves nearly as much as we do Derpy's. And Derpy and the Doctor, they work so well together. But I am curious now, how many people prefer Roseluck to Derpy? So all you Roseluck fans, make your voices heard. Let the world know that Roseluck is the better partner to Dr. Hooves than Derpy. I personally won't agree, but I am sure that there are many others who will. Thank you for the comment. Unpopular opinion, Rainbow Dash is underrated. Yes! As I mentioned earlier, Rainbow Dash is my personal favorite character. So yes, I agree, Rainbow Dash is underrated. I think King Sombra in Season 3 when we first see him was far better writing than in the later Season 9. I agree. And I know that a lot of people are going to say, well, Sombra didn't really have any character in Season 3, and the character that we got in Season 9 was better than no character. But I disagree with this. Even though Sombra, the first time we saw him, only had about 15 words or so of dialogue, I still think he had plenty of character based on what we are told about him, and even what we are shown of him through his hiding of the Crystal Heart. Like, the way that he hides the Crystal Heart shows just how many crazy levels of strategy he has put into protecting this thing. You first have to enter the castle, which he would be in, so most ponies aren't even gonna get that far. You then specifically have to cast a dark magic spell on a specific crystal in the throne room, which then leads to a door, which leads to your greatest fear, which will suddenly trap you if you try to enter it. And the way to get through there is not with the dark magic spell that you would have initially thought, but instead it is light magic, which who would have thought that Sombra of all ponies would use that? You then have to climb up this incredibly ridiculous staircase, which I could see a lot of ponies giving up on before they even reach halfway. Then once you're in the top of the tower and you finally reach the Crystal Heart, he has a cage and alarm system set up to alert him to your presence and trap you there. And if you try to teleport out, you are forced to teleport back in. Just this amount of strategy alone adds a significant amount to his character. There are several other areas with King Sombra that I could go on about, but I think you get the gist. So yeah, I agree. First version of King Sombra, better than Season 9. Oh no! Background characters are overrated, especially Derpy. Okay, my friend, you need to listen to me. Listen to me very carefully. You need to lock your doors. Lock all of them. Board the windows. Surround your house in a barbed wire fence and arm yourself because you are going to be facing the wrath of angry mobs. But before that happens, maybe I can calm some people down. I respectfully disagree. Here's why. The background ponies, especially Derpy, carry a lot of significance with them. Derpy is a character that was essentially created by fans. Everything from her eyes to her personality to her friends, to the fact that she is obsessed with muffins, all came from the fans. And yes, the eyes did start off with an animator just having some fun in the background, but it was the fans that took that idea and ran with it. And that to me is something very special. And this was done with a ton of background ponies. Not just Derpy, but it was done with Derpy more so than others. Which is why I say the background characters are not overrated, especially Derpy. But I respect your opinion, and I ask that everyone please put down their torches and pitchforks, and do not invade this kind soul's home. Please, and thank you. Twilight deserves to go to prison for the amount of book abuse she has done to the public library's books. So, a little bit of context here. This is my girlfriend, Black Moonlight, and I recently introduced the show to her. And as we were watching it together, she was in physical pain every time the books were improperly stored, thrown off the shelves, dropped on the floor, burnt to a crisp, stabbed with a horn, used as a stepping stool, and a million other things. And I honestly didn't realize just how much book abuse occurs in this show until she pointed it out to me. And it is nearly every other episode, there is some form of book abuse. And most of it comes from Twilight. But thing is, I don't think that prison is punishment enough for the crimes she has committed. We can give her a punishment far worse. And that punishment is removing her best bookkeeper picture from the Canterlot Library. That is sure to inflict some emotional scars. Okay, so this person had a lot to say, long list of opinions, but for the sake of time, I am only going to be able to cover the top one. It would have made way more sense to bring back rainbow power than bringing back the main six using the elements of harmony again. Yeah, I mean, kinda. I mean, from a narrative and world-building perspective, I say yes. That would make the most sense, because the elements were given up to the tree in order to save the tree, which, at the time, I thought implied that they weren't going to be getting the elements back, because the tree couldn't survive without them. But then they discovered this new power to replace the elements. So, looking at it that way, yes, it would have made way more sense to bring back rainbow power instead of the elements. That being said, though, I am so glad they did not bring back rainbow power. The character designs were an eyesore. They were just absolutely horrendous to look at, and they only existed to sell toys. And if the characters going and claiming the elements back from the tree means that we don't have to sit through that eyesore again, I am all for it. I do not care. Just keep those horrendous things off the screen. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but to this day, I for one would have liked to have seen Chrysalis temporarily as a reformed changeling. Emphasis on the temporarily. Because while it would have been nice just to see what Chrysalis would have looked like as a reformed changeling, it probably wouldn't have lasted long because Chrysalis can change on the outside all she wants, but her heart is too dark for her to change completely. So even if she did transform into a reformed changeling, she would have reverted back to her regular form. I think this is interesting. I do somewhat agree. I would have also liked to see Chrysalis as a reformed changeling, even if it's just to see what the design would look like. But if she were to be reformed, I don't think that she should have been temporarily reformed. I'm in the camp that she should have actually been fully reformed, along with T-Rex and Cozy Glow. But if she's not going to be reformed, I think an interesting episode that we could have gotten as maybe a season finale would be Chrysalis claiming to have been reformed, and she actually changes herself to look like one of the reformed changelings, and then tries to integrate herself back into their society and usurp the throne. Because I think a lot of people might like her being reformed, and it would give the audience sort of a hope that she can change, but then to just rip the rug out from under the audience and suddenly making her no longer reformed, I can't see the audience responding well to that. But the idea of her pretending to be reformed, this would have given us that Beyond Redemption Chrysalis like you're talking about, and we would get to see what she would look like if she were reformed. A very interesting discussion there. Thank you for the comment. Zephyr Breeze and Limestone Pie. I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion. Even to this day, I feel that Flash Sentry is a good character. He just needed more development. So yes, I agree, he needed more development, but that's exactly the reason as to why so many people don't think that he's a good character. It's that lack of development that makes him nothing more than a cliche high school love interest for Twilight. So no, I don't think that he's a good character, but I respect your opinion. Now I still have one more comment to get to, but first, I want to say this. This is why I love Bold Banter Bonanza. This is where we get to see so many different opinions and perspectives on the show from so many different angles and through so many different lenses, so we can all see it in a very different way than what we're used to. And it's great fun, but I can only keep making these videos so long as there is support for it. Meaning, if you want to see more episodes of Bold Banter Bonanza, just take a moment to click the like button. And be sure to comment below your controversial opinion, and I just might get to it in the next episode. Alright, one more comment. Snips and Snails are great characters.